So like I said, this family meeting is for you guys. We know a lot of you guys have some really great things that you're doing already to make homeschooling work for you. And you guys also might have some things that like you have questions about or need support with. And we really wanted just to have a time and space for you guys to come together alongside teachers to kind of work through some of the challenges that you may be having, and then just sharing some like really good ideas for other families. Um, we do have an agenda to kind of follow, just so that you know what's to come and you know when to ask your questions and whatnot. Throughout all this, if anything pops up and you have a question, there's a chat feature. Feel free to type into the chat, or you can wait till the very end when we have our Q&A. But we're gonna first start off with like what have we been up to. Some of the Seek staff is gonna share what we've been doing, and then we want to hear from you guys. What have you guys been up to? What's going on? How has quarantine been for you? Then we're going to talk a little bit about essential workers and making it work when you're an essential worker. And then for those who are working from home, we're going to hear from some folks who are working from home and have found some things to help them. Then we're going to get into a little bit of like homeschooling, like what are some tips and tricks that families have come up with throughout this time for homeschooling. Someone in the comments when we put it on Dojo had asked for some stress management techniques. So we're going to share some of that and hear from you guys with like what kind of things you're doing to help de-stress during this time. And then Seek teachers have a few things coming up for you guys and for the kids. And so we wanted just to share that and preview it with you. And then we'll end with like question and answers. So like if throughout all of this, if something hasn't been answered yet, you can ask your questions then. All right, so we're gonna kick it off with what have we been up to?
Hey families, we've missed you all so much. Thank you for joining us today. We recognize that the last couple of weeks have been extremely challenging in a very unique way. Whether you're still working full-time, part-time, or have become a full-time teacher, changes, adjustments, and readjustments have been inevitable. We thought it'd be important for our teachers and you, our amazing parents, to share what your experiences have been like during this time. So we're going to start off with some teachers sharing their experiences. Mr. Sneed, would you like to start off by telling us what you've been up to?
Yeah, sure. I have 4 kids of my own, 2 in middle school and 2 in elementary school. 13, 12, 7, and 6. And I have remote learning as well with my children, and on top of doing our Seek responsibilities. And what I found that helped the most is creating a schedule, almost like school, and making sure we break down their breakfast, their lunch, their snacks, their wiggle breaks, and we kind of like distribute the help. Sometimes like if certain kids need more help with certain work, then we stay on with them the longest, and they should be able to finish their work within like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and kind of be done with everything, and then we move on to the next child. So the good tip is kind of like find your child learning curve and home in on that.
Thank you so much for sharing, Mr. Sneed. Ms. George?
Hi, hello and good evening. I just want to let you guys know that you are not alone when it comes to this situation. All families are currently stressing out, just trying to figure out how are they going to make everything happen each and every day. I want you to know that each day is an opportunity for us to get it better. And just to piggyback off of Mr. Sneed, I absolutely needed to create a schedule for my 2 kids. I have a 7-year-old as well as a 6-month-old. Believe me, it can be very overwhelming. So usually during the day, I try to get my 7-year-old's work completed between 9 and 11. And then I have a schedule created for the baby because he's still nursing. So I need to make sure that that time is blocked off specifically for him. Now, you know very well this does not work out as planned. So things happen. It's life. It doesn't work out as easily as we expected to. Some days we're not finished doing Junior's work until around 2 o'clock. Today, I'm actually very proud of him. We were able to be done before 11. There's some days the baby's crying and he just wants to be held. And yet, and still, I have work that needs to be submitted. So it's all about taking things a day at a time and not putting too much pressure on the children or ourselves, because this is a situation that we have to learn and grow together.
Thank you for sharing, Ms. George. Ms. Vilsaint?
Hi, everyone. Quarantine has been interesting. I am completely alone by myself. I don't have any children, but I also don't have any family around. And so most of my family lives in Connecticut or Georgia and Florida. I would say about half of my aunts and uncles have come down with COVID-19 during this time. So that's been really difficult, being so far away from everyone and not being able to be there for them. One thing that I've been doing to like help get through this is, just FaceTime. Thank God for technology. I talk to my family as much as possible. Work has been a good distraction for me at times to like get my mind off of things. Luckily, and through God's blessings, most of my family has recovered fully. I have one aunt who's back home. She was in the hospital for 2 weeks. She's back home and she's not 100%, but she's on her way, on her way back up and up. And another uncle who's also still recovering at home. And so, the challenge for me has been, I'm such a big family person to be so removed from all the people that I love and care about, and, have them go through this, and also to be completely alone. So that's challenging. Like there's no one here. So I use technology a lot to definitely keep me connected to those around me.
As you can tell, a lot of us have different experiences during this time, and we would love to hear what your experience has been like. We want to open the floor now for parents to share some challenges that they've been having, or just what their experience has been like during this time. Please raise your hand if you want to share, or type into the chat. Yes, take the floor. I'm sorry, it says Andres, iPhone. You have to make sure you unmute yourself.
Guys.
Hello. Yes.
Okay. All right. So this whole thing has been very challenging for me. Okay. I left my teaching job. Obviously, I'm home. But now I'm a full-time mom and a full-time teacher at home with 3, homeschooling 2, and a little one to take care of. My days are very, very busy. It's very, very hard. And I try my best to stick to the schedule from Malaya and my other daughter to get the schoolwork done in a timely manner, but it's very difficult. It's very difficult. It's very stressing.
Definitely understand.
Andres, did you want to say something before?
Okay, no. Hey, hi everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, everything's been all right. The biggest thing for me has been scheduling, because I didn't start off doing any scheduling at all. I didn't think the assignments would take me all day. Sometimes even beyond 4 o'clock. So now, what I'm starting to do this morning, I started it, and what I'm going to start to do is like really wake up very early, as there was a regular school day, 6 o'clock, and start diving off really early, and just help them with the things that he has trouble with. So that's what I plan to do.
I do want to say that we appreciate all the work that you guys have been doing, like readjusting to all of this online learning platform. We know it could be super challenging, especially when trying to balance like your work life too, right? And one of the things that we really want to stress is that communication is so important. If you find that you're having challenging time submitting the assignments by a certain time, like please reach out to your teachers and let them know, because we are so open to working with you. And hopefully through, our time together today, we can pick out some tips, some tricks that, we've all been putting in practice in order to better support us.
All right, we're gonna keep going.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, no. I mean, is it now that we talk about issues we may be having, or should we wait for later in the discussion?
Let's wait till later because I think
Okay.
we have some parents that are going to share their schedules that they have.
Okay.
So
Cool,
we
cool.
can wait till that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Moore?
I think this is Miss Kennedy's kicking this section off.
Okay.
Hi everyone, how are you?
Hello.
Right now it's really tough for me to be around Tanaya and Zion and my newborn baby due to the fact that I am frontline with COVID-19. Currently doing testing at my job. So I try to prevent myself from being around them during the day, and Dad is working as well overnight. So it's like most of the time they do be with my mom. So when they are around me, it's like during this time, maybe Sunday, I might be around them. So doing homework, like Dad works overnight, so he's not really up during the day. And me being like outside during the day, like 4 o'clock is like over. I even get home. So my mom, she's older. She doesn't really know too much about schooling at home and stuff like that. So it's really complicated for us to work together to have them complete all their assignments on time or whatever.
Yeah. Miss Kennedy, I think you had a parent that you said that is also an essential worker that has like kind of found some things that are working for them.
Yes, I have Miss Bernard here. She's going to share her experiences with working with her daughter because she's in the hospital. Her husband is the officer, so they're essential workers and they're on the line every day. But they're really diligent with making sure Giselle gets her work in. They send me pictures. They reach out if they're having any issues or they need any extensions, or I can support them. So I did want her to share her experience with both of them being essential workers and how they're still making sure Giselle is accountable for her work that she's getting done at home with grandma.
Hey, Seek family. We miss you guys.
All right.
It's been hell, but we're getting through this. It's very hard for me and Dad. As you can see, I work 12 to 16 hours. He's on Pittman's schedule as well, so it's hard for the both of us. Shout outs to grandparents, Miss Kennedy, Miss Mazda, we love you. Thank you so much. Miss Vilsaint as well, thank you for reaching out. Second grade team, you guys are amazing. Some stuff that we really do, we always texting Miss Kennedy and Miss Mazda all the time. It was kind of hard in the beginning, but we finally got it down packed. We try to wake her up like 9 o'clock to start. As one of the other parents said, it is time consuming. We try to get it done at least by 12, the latest, but sometime internet service might go down. Zoom may act up or Zern might go out on us. So it takes a lot, and sometimes the kids get frustrated. So mentally is a lot for all of us. But you guys are doing a great job. Thank you for reaching out, and just thank you guys for everything.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
I think the big thing from that is also just communication. So I know like a lot of you guys are still working, whether it's from home or being an essential worker. And I just want to stress that, like, yes, there's a deadline that's put on Google Classroom at 4 p.m. But if you ever need an extension, or you know that like there's a week or certain days that you work late, we are more than willing to, grade something after that extension. There are some families that they just text us a picture of their work because they know that they won't be able to like support their kiddo online on the computer. And so I believe for Giselle, like you guys are texting grandma throughout the day, and like she's sending you guys pictures to like check in with you. So those are just different things. Like just please communicate. That's the biggest thing. Whatever you guys need, we're more than willing to like help and be flexible with. So if there's something you can't get done or you need more time to get done, just communicate with your teacher. And as long as you're doing something within the day, like we can always like work with you, even if it's not every single thing that gets done.
And also, parents, you can log yourself and view what your child is doing. I didn't know that.
How are you able to log in and see what she's doing?
It's actually connected to my personal Google account. Google Classroom. and you can put the student information in, and you can see exactly what they've done so far.
And do you use the app for that? The Google
Yeah.
Classroom app? So downloading that Google Classroom app might be helpful for families that might not have downloaded it yet to their phone.
Yeah.
Ms. Martin, did you want to share something? I know you said that the app is ready.
Most of what I wanted to share was very much already put out there. I was just saying, like, having a consistent schedule while I am at home working, and these two are here most days out the week. I'm just like, there are times where like I'm on a call and I can't, like I'm in a space where I can't stop to look at what it is that you got going on. So like I make sure that my schedule kind of aligns with what they have going on, because our schedules are not similar, but like from day to day, I know what I have to do, and theirs is very much consistent as well. So like in the morning, I know that I have huddle at 8 o'clock, but Courtney wants to get up and do her question of the day before 9. So there's certain things that you have to do independently that you can do on your own while I'm having my meeting too. So just making sure that like certain things that she can do on her own, I create like a checklist like, hey, you came downstairs before you're whining, did you brush your teeth? Did you make your bed? Did you, all right, your phone is charged, because she has like a little phone that she can do the question of the day on the app. She can also do, I think there's an app for Zern. She's downloaded Clever and doing like some other things on it. And there's no phone with service, it's just like Wi-Fi. But there are things that she can do on her own. And then like in her schedule, it also says like from 11 to 11:30, mommy loves you, but I'm off limits because I'm in a meeting every day from 11 to 11:30, like mommy's off limits. So there are things like making sure that she maintains her independence. She sticks like, consistently sticking through to the schedule. And like many before me said, like reaching out to teachers and communicating. Lots of like one time she submitted something and it was just like, no, we should look back at that. And like, Ms. Jones, can you open that back up so we can look back at it? And she's like, sure, it's after. She's like, but it was due at 4 o'clock. But at the same time, like, I want you to get this right. And Ms. Jones actually understands that we're in a pandemic right now. And like, she understands. So like recognizing that like the adult, like they understand what we're going, like we're all going through it. Like whether you're teaching, whether you're a parent, whether you're essential, like we're all, this is new and uncharted for all of us. And it's definitely like a lot. But we're all like trying to get through it together. So, and when she does have downtime, like I tell her like, go look on YouTube and do like a arts and crafts project, like something that she can do until I can get to her. And then when I can check your writing and like a response before you want to submit it, then we can do that. But just working together and making sure that the things that she can do independently, I stress that she do them independently.
So I heard a bunch of nuggets of wisdom in what you said, Mrs. Marchand. So knowing what your kids can do by themselves and having that expectation that they can do it by themselves. So there are certain things on Google Classroom that don't require that much effort or work, like watching the morning message video and responding to that is something that you can build up independence for your kids. So knowing which are the things that like, okay, you're gonna do this by yourself and then I'm gonna check on it later. And then there are certain things that you know that you wanna do when like you're available to kind of be beside them and help them. So that means not every single assignment has to be done in front of you. So that way that there's some balance for you. Also having like a set schedule so the kids know when to come to mommy or daddy or when to not. And so having that schedule for them to know when they can ask for help and get that help is also helpful for them so that they know when they can get that support that they need. The communication piece with teachers, keep communicating and letting them know what you need. And they are like, again, are more than willing to help and support. I heard a plug for the app. Download it for yourself as a parent, but also for the kids. If they have some devices at home, they can get Clever and Google Classroom and Zern. They can access those from maybe some technology that they have. If you give them a cell phone or something, or a tablet, that way they can have access to some of those things that they know how to do independently on different devices. So that way, you know, if there's computer trouble, they can use it on different things. Thank you for that.
Oh, well, and a little bit of recess. You add that there.
Yes, give them a break. Give them a break.
Add some recess.
Yes.
But yes, that's all I got.
Ms. Baden, I also believe that you were going to share a little bit about what balancing working from home and things that you've been doing to kind of manage all those things.
Holding my charger. Yes. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Being, you know, I work for KIP at SEEK, but I also have 4 children of my own, and I am a single parent at that. So it's just like, you know, I find myself to be me versus like a classroom of kids, and it's like, well, what's happening more often than I would like. One thing that didn't honestly work for me was a schedule, ironically. And I mean a schedule in the sense of like, you know how some of you guys are explaining like, oh, you know, like they know what time to do this, to do that. My kids have their expectations. Like they know that I need them to, I'm sorry, my computer with that. They know that I need like the morning message to be answered by a certain time. They know that work needs to be handed in by a certain time. One of my kids, I think she deals with anxiety, so she does deal with like things like Miss Marsha was saying with Courtney, like, oh, it's not up, and you know, I have to have it in by this. And then she's also still having double Dutch practice. Then I have another kid who suffers from ADHD, and he's like hyper, and he's like, well, mommy. And I'm like, well, you know, give me a second. I'm trying to do that. So for these many, and I also have my daughter just turned 5, so she's still in preschool age where she just doesn't care what I say or what I'm telling her I need. It's all about what she needs and wants. So therefore, a schedule did not work for my family. But setting expectations and me giving them, letting them know what it is that I needed to be done, that kind of did help. So it's like, okay, well, I know if I do this, then I can do that. With this, you know how like we have Fantastic Friday at the school every week. So I was like, all right, what are some things that we could do at home? So we had like an indoor movie night, and that basically just meant let's just rent like a movie if we could. And I just kind of got popcorn and things like that, and I set it up like a movie theater. I had a board. I gave them play money. They had to use it as a learning method too. Count your money, what it is that you're ordering, things like that. So it's fun, and to put them in the school setting. We also did like, I had a bunch of glow sticks laying around. We did like a glow in the dark party. Just trying to still keep that same momentum that the school always offers, because these are things that I couldn't do, you know, with them. And then I have a loud dog, so it's just so much happening all the time at once. I will just suggest to have conversations with your kids to let them know like it's okay to not be okay in this moment, because we all are together still. And that, you know, just letting them, like, just to also be realistic and let them know, like, my daughter asked, like, is Corona going away? And I'm like, you know, I don't think it's going to go away, but it is going to slow down, and I'm trying to express things to them. So I think just having those kind of conversations might truly be helpful.
Awesome. So I heard some things like incentivizing and motivating them, and like giving, it's almost like a to-do list. Like, you got to get through this before we can do these other things. So if a schedule,
I just want to shout you out as well for your, like, the fact that you spoke on the social emotional impact of this. Like, we may see more anxiety in our kids are going to have a really hard time understanding this. And just like Miss Marshan was saying to us, like, we're all in a pandemic, we're all really worried about this. It's really good that you're having those conversations with your kids about, like, it's okay to not feel great right now. Right. And your teachers understand.
And they can be hard. I will say that even in conversations that I don't normally have, that I noticed myself having to have, I reach out to other people. Like, you know, we love our teachers. They are our, like, they're like our kids' frontliners, because they're, you know, they're still teaching them. But don't forget, we still do have social workers. We have the culture team and things like that. So utilize our, you know, our environment, because those people are still here too. Because they've helped me go along the way.
Thank you.
In the spirit of tips and tricks, we thought that it would be super helpful for parents to continue to share the best practices that they're applying at home while they are readjusting to this new life. I can't see everyone that's here, so give me 1 second. Miss Millette, are you on here?
Hello?
Yes.
This is
Oh, she froze.
Did your computer freeze too?
Yeah, I think she froze.
Mrs. Hill?
I can speak for Ms. Hill.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. This is Mr. Tompkins. So you all, thank you for having on the call. One of the things that Ms. Hill said, and she has two kidsters as well, one in high school and one in CAU. She pretty much reiterated what you all said about schedule. And what she really pushed was that, like, there are days where she just has to take a break and tell her daughter, like, look, do the best that you can. Whatever you give is okay, because she's trying to balance, you know, being a parent, being a spouse, you know, and being a teacher. So she says her schedule is a skeleton, and she gives like from 9 to 10:30. These are the expectations versus like giving a hard stop time, because she's trying to allow both of her kids the space to learn. So she's never afraid to have them go over if they're learning.
Mr. Sneed?
Yes.
Would you like to share some tips and tricks that have been working for you while at home?
Only tips and tricks I have is kind of just learning your kid, and pretty much your schedule is going to switch up some many days, and you just gotta figure out what they like to do, what they want to do, and their learning curve. We gotta understand that certain kids, your child may have a different way of learning, so you have to adapt to that. Especially if you're in the house all day with them, they're gonna frustrate the hell out of you. And to keep it 100 with you, you're gonna have to figure out how to adapt to that. And if your child needs 4 or 5 wiggle breaks, you got to give them that, and then on top of that, pull them away from that 15 minutes, and we jump back into the work. You can't. There's no excuses. There's no days off. They have to understand that Monday through Friday is still a school day, and you have to start it off like a school day and end it like a school day. So my tip and trick is honestly just stay on top of your child and learn a learning style. Once you figure that out, once we get back to school, you'll pretty much have a grasp on how they handle their work day to day.
To piggyback off of you, Mr. Sneed, when I was talking to Miss Millette, she was telling me how it was super important, because she has 2 boys, to get them into a schedule. And she makes sure that they follow that routine every single day. Because just like in school, they have a schedule that they follow, right? They're having lunch at a certain time. And so you build that expectation and that routine of what's to come next. And she's found that that's been super, super helpful for her. Ms. Crawford, would you like to share?
Let me unmute you. Ms. Crawford had some really great resources to share. There you go.
Hi, I just have a few resources that came in handy for my sister. So I found some great decodable books online by a company called Flyleaf Publishing, and they really target all the skills that the kids would need, like especially approaching 3rd grade, like vowel teams, digraphs, syllables, etc. There's also a website called The Writing Revolution that focuses on writing skills, and they have downloadable templates that the kids can follow, that the parent can go in if you want to, if you have time to set up the template, or they just can be printed out and your kids can write response questions and different activities like that. And there's another website that focuses on like phonemic awareness, hearing and manipulating sounds. It's called Heggerty, Heggerty, and they actually have lesson plans, and they take about 10 minutes a day to reinforce like blending syllables, isolating sounds in the beginning and the middle and the ending of the word, which is great as the kids begin to have to break down words with like 3 or more syllables. So, and it's a schedule from Monday through Friday, They're free. All of these references are free. They're great activity for kids. And my nephew, he really likes them, and my sister has found them to be quite easy to implement. And also, there's a couple of websites that focus on self-regulation. Brainbreaks.com is a good one, because with like following a schedule, we also want Michael to understand you have to be flexible sometimes if, say, the internet goes down, or if he does need some assistance, to kind of self-regulate also and move to another task. So those are just a few things.
Thank you for sharing. So these are like extra things that if you're looking for other things for your kiddos to do, or you need an additional like resources, if you know that they're working on certain skills, like these are great resources that you can use. Just so you know that Mr. Tompkins is taking notes on everything, and so this is being recorded, so we're going to send that out in the weekly email that Ms. Jones sends out, and then also the notes will also be there. So if you didn't catch it, you'll definitely get those things in the email with our follow-up to this.
And on that note, if you have a resource you want to share, you can just drop it in the chat, and that way we can add it to the notes as well. Like I see that Miss Marchand has already put some websites in there. So
awesome. Were there any other tips or tricks that families might have that they want to share at this time before we move on to the next section?
So I'll jump in. I'm a mom of 3, and they're all different ages. And it's interesting, but I created a schedule. Well, we created the schedule together, and I give them choice time. So we get up, same time every morning, have breakfast like we're going to school. And the first things first is to submit the work that needs to be submitted. And you get a break. First break, timer goes on, because I have one that needs a timer. Very antsy and busy, and bringing it back. So I have a timer. They work the timer, so they know. And sometimes, they try to trick you, and coming back and paying attention to that, and trying to get everything done before the school day. But I also let them do everything independently, and then I don't want them to submit it. I go back before they submit and go over the work, even for my 6-year-old. And there's times that I do find her spinning on the spin chair, not doing the work. So let's not make it sound like it's easy, like spinning. And I'm like, but giving choice, and then like giving them opportunity to do it by themselves, and then going in, because the bottom line is we just don't have that time all day to do it, but also giving them that independent practice.
Cool. All right. Thank you guys for sharing your tips and tricks. We still will have a Q&A at the end if you guys still have questions that you need answered or things that you want to talk about. We are going to move to stress management. You guys have mentioned that this is a lot. This is overwhelming. It's overwhelming for us as adults, but also for our kids. And so this is a time for us to kind of just share some things that people are doing to kind of help with that. Yeah.
Ms. Vilsaint, I think you can kick it off.
Oh, you sure? Okay.
Yes, because you were talking about your breathing and your stretches,
yes.
To us as
yes.
teachers. So I think it's important for you to start.
All right, thanks. So I have a lot of anxiety in general. That's who I am. I'm a very anxious person. So when this all started, I quickly realized that I needed to do something to kind of like help de-stress, even with busy work days. So there are a few things that I do when I find myself getting overwhelmed. I like to boil hot water. So I boil water in a pot, then I pour it into a bowl, and I drape a towel over my head and do some deep breathing. I usually do this at night because that deep breathing and the steam actually helps me like make me sleepy. So I do that. So I know some people put some essential oils in there if they if they have that. I've also seen people put like
Wait, I think we need to get our own one.
Sorry, I hear a lot of background.
No, it's me. It's me. I'm
Okay.
sorry. So you stress.
Avery's busy. Okay. Yeah, so I like you can put like different things in there, and so it's really simple. Like I said, boil some water, put it into like a big bowl, put a towel over your head, put your head in that bowl, like, and breathe in the steam. That's something that I do that helps regulate my breathing and helps calm me down, and it makes me sleepy. I also found a bunch of like videos. I'm not very healthy or fit, but YouTube has a lot of like yoga videos, and I'm not very flexible, but they have like beginner stretches, and doing those stretches helps to relieve the tension that I carry in my neck and shoulders. And I honestly just watch it from my phone. I sit on the floor in my bedroom and I just do some of those stretches. One of those videos I also learned this breathing technique where you take your hand like this and like you plug one side of your nose, you breathe in, and then you plug the other side and breathe out. It helps you to like slow down your breathing and take deeper breaths. So when I find myself doing that when I get really anxious, and all these are things that I learned from YouTube videos. So I have a playlist of like stretches. When we send out the email, I'll put the playlist that I have with a bunch of different like simple yoga things, and then the breathing exercises that I do also when I find myself getting stressed, and it helps me fall asleep. A little bit hippie-ish, but little things that like help, bring that anxiety down on some of the tough days.
George?
Right. For me, most definitely it's really about finding myself in prayer. So taking the time to pray or read my Bible, usually late at night when the kids are asleep, like that is your you time. But you also have to figure out like what works best for you. A lot of times, just like Miss Bill Saint was saying, doing meditation or yoga. Maybe if you wanted to exercise, if you feel like something is very stressful, it's really important for us to have a positive attitude. There's so many times like I might get frustrated with Junior and he might just start crying over like the simplest things. Like I know I need to take a step back and understand that, or accept rather, that there are events that we really cannot control, and just take time to breathe. Like there's even times, listen, honestly speaking, like I've had to like hide in the bathroom for like a couple minutes and just like find myself and be like, all right, there's no need to act out in anger. Just take yourself and then readdress the situation. And just really allowing our students to like, express themselves as well. Like their feelings also do matter. But just give them time to take a break for themselves. But like I started saying in the beginning, it's really for me, it's like just taking time to breathe and pray. Like that's my main thing. And if you have time to sleep, do that. If you need to take a glass of wine sometimes, that's necessary too. Do that.
Ms. George, thank you very much for your honesty. I think that one, when we're going through all this, it's important to recognize that we are all human in this. So I always want to thank you for your honesty. And you're right? Like you have to find what's right for you. For my wife and I, we have an interesting life at our house. We have a 4-year-old who runs our house. Her name is Avery, as you can hear in the back. And so what? Okay, so okay, baby, I'm trying to talk. Seriously, chill out. Chill out, sis. Sorry, you all. So what we've actually done is we've embraced screen time. When we were new parents and she was young, Avery will never touch an iPad. Yeah. We've thrown that out the window. What we've done is we've done a lot more. We've allowed her to actually get on screen time. But what we're doing is we're just monitoring what she's doing. So for every 20 minutes of YouTube, she has to do an hour of ABC Mouse. So what we're really trying to do is just like not beat ourselves up as like bad or good parents. Understanding that we have needs, in our house. My wife, she's on calls all day. I obviously have things to do for our kids here at Seek. And then allowing our daughter, who's 4, to be self-directed, but also and do ABC mouse on her own computer, as she says in the back. So for us, it's just embracing, the modes that work for Avery. Sometimes it's iPad. Sometimes we'll just make up a game where she has to run around and slap sight words. Or, sometimes we'll do like a duck, duck, goose game where she has to play with, like, she'll duck, duck, goose around numbers. We've tried to be as creative and as helpful to her because we want to make sure that we're recognizing her anxieties as well. So the last thing I will say is I have also found myself doing a lot more for me. And so every day I take a bike ride that is just me, my music, and my brain. And I would challenge everyone on this call, family and friends, to do that. Take 20 minutes, do nothing. Like, don't be a mom, don't be a dad, just be you. Because I think, as we get out of this, mental health and stress are going to be important to talk about.
Mm-hmm. And that might mean at night when the kids are asleep, that 20 minutes begins, right? Like, it might be harder to find it during the day, but making sure, there are moments when they're not awake. Capitalize on those moments for you and really make them the most meaningful for you as much as possible. Are there any other tips that people have or things that they've tried or done that have helped to alleviate some of the stress for them?
I'm not sure if this is a positive tip or trick, but I've been shopping and it's ridiculous. But it makes me feel a lot better just knowing I have something coming that belongs to me and I don't have to share with my kids or nothing. So it might help. I ain't saying go crazy, but I mean, just, because we're not able to get out to stores and things like that, but just, get something for you. Like, it's still okay to treat yourself to little things or whatever. So, just knowing that the little package is going to be there, and you could just lead them while they arguing or doing whatever, go downstairs, like, I got something. That's just my way of getting back.
Yeah, retail therapy works just as well as yoga.
That's it.
And we're all saving money. No one's going out. No one's doing anything. So spend it on yourself.
I would also say find a hobby. Like, I like to craft. So, like, when things are like, I'm just like on my computer, on my Cricut machine, just putting things together. So I would say find a hobby too. Because I feel like that's your time. And it's like, sometimes the kids, if you're happy, the kids might find boring. So they want to leave you alone. So it's still more reason for you to go ahead and do because you enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. I found a lot of like how-to videos on YouTube. The other day I did a lot of how-to draw videos. So I learned how to draw a few emojis. I've also done some how-to stuff, like learn to do stuff for my hair, my nails. So there's a lot of video. YouTube is gold right now with the things that you can learn to do. So that's also something. Cool. All right, we're gonna keep going. What's to come?
All right, as you guys have seen, we're definitely trying to create an opportunity where we have a support system for one another. So know that we are not alone. We might be alone, but we're alone in this together. Coming up, we're definitely going to be opening up some office hours. There's going to be a teacher a day in a chat available to help students whenever necessary. We are definitely currently working on this as of right now, so please be patient with us and continue reaching out to your teachers for any individual support that you may need. There's also a book club that we have thought to bring to the forefront for you guys as well. This is an opportunity for parents to have free time. When the student is sitting in front of this screen, please exit the room. Let them have that time and you take that time for yourself, okay? But we're going to be coming together and each teacher is going to be taking a day to come and read. We're actually going to be reading Charlotte's Web. And thereafter, we're working on this as well. So nothing's set in stone, but we're going to try to do a Zoom movie. So after reading the book, the students will have the opportunity to watch the movie and relate it.
Thank you, Ms. George. And this is supposed to begin this Wednesday, but again, like Ms. George said, more details to come about the time, the link, so have your kiddos check Google Classroom for that. All right.
So we really wanted to give this time to honor any questions you have that you feel like weren't covered yet, or if there's anything, particular advice that you need, the floor is yours. So what I'm gonna do is just scroll. You actually, if you want to put in the chat me, then that will probably be the most productive way to make sure everyone's getting heard. So if you have a question, feel free to type me into the chat.
How do you type me?
All right, it's fine. If you do not know how to do it, don't worry. You
I
can
got
go
it. I got it. I found it.
All right. Well, we'll start off with Miss Baden because she was quick.
I'm used to it by now. My question is more so, what exactly, where is like, oh, okay. So although we're considering times that we are in, where exactly should we expect our children to be academically to move forward to the 3rd grade?
That is a great question. And I'm going to answer a little bit, and then if some of the other parents, teachers want to jump in. Being totally honest, America as a nation is going to be entering a little bit behind in their next grade level. This is a nationwide issue that all students are going to face. So as long as your children are consistently doing the online work, we as a 2nd grade team are going to be happy about that. And when we are finally able to be together again, teachers at Seek are going to work super hard to get your kids back to where they need to be. So while I don't want to sound like I'm saying don't worry about their academics, do your best, because that's all that we can do in this time.
So then my question might more so be, so for instance, there's a criteria of like, oh, they should be on this level to go to the 3rd grade, things like that. So my question, I guess, would be, will those be altered considering the times?
So as I can answer that.
Maybe ask Ms. Vilsaint if she has news on that.
Yep. So as of right now, so report cards are going to be coming out in the next 2 weeks to you guys. As of right now, things like at risk for retention and those things that like normally would be on the report card are not going to be on the report card. For any kiddo that was at risk before we went into quarantine, we're going to be thinking about like what are some additional supports that we can give them to end the year strong. Our region is still working on what guidelines we're going to use if we're going to even do retention. Most states are giving guidelines to schools about like either you can or you cannot retain this year because of what's going on. We still have not received guidance from New Jersey about this. I know for Florida, like they're not doing any retentions this year, but New Jersey hasn't officially said that. And so depending on any guidelines that we get from them, we're definitely going to follow that. But as of right now, honestly, it's like our kids aren't getting instruction the way that they would at school. So it's really hard to hold them to the same accountability that we would if they were getting instruction every day. That being said, like Ms. Mazda said, like our number one thing is like giving them as much as we can and having them work as hard as possible, given what's going on. So as of right now, we're not focusing on any retentions. And then, but the conversations will be had with families that may have been at risk prior to quarantine. But we're still waiting for some guidelines. And we don't want families to worry too much about it because we know that like everybody is, you know, not getting the same level of instruction. So accountability will look different. As long as attendance is good.
Yeah.
Is going online. Because if attendance is not good, that's the one thing that I do know that's a little fuzzy. So if we have no documentation of a kiddo doing work, then that's a different story. But if we have documentation of our kids attempting to do the work and getting recorded for attendance, then we should be in a good spot.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? You can type me into the chat or raise your hand. I'm scrolling through right now. Andres's iPhone, go ahead.
How are you, everybody? Hey, I have a question regarding sometimes I'm having problems with how you call it, with typing in the documents or in a slides program. First, I'm unable to copy and paste, and then sometimes it's just really difficult to use those programs. Is it possible that I can just take pictures and send them through pictures when that's because it takes it takes a lot of time sometimes just to do that. You know, today I ended up taking pictures, but would there be a problem doing that, taking pictures of the work on another computer?
That is actually something that we recommend. If you find that you're having a really hard time with submitting something, please reach out to your scholar's teacher. You know, our job is to make your life as easy as we possibly can. So please, if you are having trouble submitting something, please feel free to take a picture and submit it to your teachers.
Okay, that's really okay. Okay, good. That's good.
Thank you, Ms. Finland. Yeah, we really like as much as possible. We want you guys using the technology, but technology is technology, and when it gets difficult, we rather the work get done in a way that makes sense. And so, if you take a picture, if that's the best way, then that's the best way. If it's not working with the technology.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? You can type me in the chat, or I'm scrolling through, so you can raise your hand. I'm not seeing anything, so going once, going twice. And if you have any questions that you think of later that we didn't get to today, please feel free to text them to your scholars teacher.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much
for coming onto this call. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your tips, your tricks. And again, the big thing, is more, you kicked us off earlier sharing some of your struggles with working and, having the kids at home. Please just talk to your teachers. If you need an extension, if you need some support, there are things that we're doing to prioritize certain things for families that need it. Whether it's like, okay, for today, we just need you to do these 2 things because we know you've got a lot going on today. Just communicate with your teacher, and everyone is more than willing to help out and support. And just thank you for your hard work. You guys are teachers now on top of all your other jobs and hats that you guys have. And we know that teaching is not easy. We do it every day. And so you guys taking that on when you didn't necessarily sign up for it, we know that's a challenge. But we want to just share our gratitude and appreciation for all that you're doing. Just want you to know 2nd grade has been kicking it out the park in terms of like getting their work done, getting Zern done, getting Raz done. We know that you guys are really working hard with them to get those things done. And we look at the data. We're constantly talking about like, what are our kids doing? Where are they struggling? Where are they doing well? And 2nd grade is really, really in a good spot. And we just, look forward to it getting even better and better over time. But we're really doing really well, and it's because of your hard work. So thank you so much. We hope that this was helpful. If it was or wasn't, please give us the feedback. We probably will do this again at some point before the year is up, just so that we can have another touch point with you guys. But please share the feedback if you have any about how this went and what we could do to make it better or more useful for you. All right, guys. Thank you for hopping on. Miss Marshan, tell Court I said hi too.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Stay safe.
Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Thank you. Bye.